Everyone, what's going on? It's Mike Daniels from MyTekki. Haven't put a post out here for a while, so I decided to go ahead and put a new post in. Today we're going to be talking about text editors and the best text editor for Mac, in my opinion, of course. These are, I've tried out a couple. There's a couple of really good ones if you're a definitely if you're a project-based person. And I just want to show you a couple of them. Some free, some not free. Just to show you the total, package, so to speak. There is one on here that's a really good text editor called Espresso. It is not free. It's about, I think, just on their website. It's like $80. It's more of a project-based type editor, more like a Dreamweaver, and so it's up to you if you really wish to. I looked at the interface; it's pretty nice. Has a lot of element like breadcrumbing and stuff like that. So it's a pretty nice text editor. So we're just gonna go through the basics here. If you look right here, I have a test.php. If I open it with the standard text edit, it's just like a notepad. So you look here, you got no color syntax highlighting or anything like that. Really plain and basic. I mean, if you're just trying to get the job done real fast and it's just a really small HTML page, you can get away with it, not a problem. But we're going to go ahead and close that out. And I'm going to show you the ones that I prefer. My main one that I prefer the most that allows you to keep your file structure, do whatever you want because it's nothing but a text editor and does a really good job is TextMate. TextMate is about, I think, $40. It's not expensive at all. You go to the bar one night, you spend that easily. So um, if you look here, I'm writing in three different languages here for a reason. So you see at the very first, I have my PHP block, and in that PHP block, I initialize one of the methods of echo. I put in my string, close the line, do the same thing again, and you can see that it recognizes that this is a variable and this is a method, so they're the same color because that's just how it does it. A lot of colors do, a lot of syntax highlighting does the same thing. But as you can see, I mean, it colors strings, make sure that if you break the color, everything else breaks. As you see, this became now green. There's a lot of indifferences in it, which is really nice. So if I save that, you can see down here in the HTML, it comes in your strings within your div header or div elements here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and show you. Basically, it also has breadcrumb navigation, kind of like the Espresso does, but it's just more or less hidden. So right now, if I click in the div 1, 2, you can see that if I hit this little drop down, I'm also within the div of ID, which has a CSS of blah, right? So the ID is blah here, and then the CSS blah here. And you can see even in the CSS, it recognizes it and says, okay, hey, we're now going to CSS. We're going to go ahead and start putting in CSS coloring. So you can type in, the beautiful thing about it is you can type in multiple languages, and the file and the text editor will understand, hey, I need to color it this way, I need to color it this way, so on and so forth, and keep it going. So I just wanted to go ahead and show you that. You can change your syntax highlighting right here on the fly, what your default syntax highlighting is, I should say. You can also change your tab size based on the document. So if you're working on a project or a team, and your team says, okay, we're gonna start tabbing at 2 now, not instead of 4, which is a pretty big standard for. Then you can just change it right here on the fly, 2, 4. Or if you have a weird team, you can even go other. So and put whatever you want for the spacing. So here you can see you have the line numbers. You have collapsible columns. It's a pretty thing that's becoming standard nowadays. By default, line is not on there. So if you want to know real fast, if you go to View, Gutter, and you choose line numbers. Okay, so that's how you put your line numbers on there. By default, it's not on there. Why? I don't know. It's a pretty standard thing to have. So we're going to minimize that. You notice that we did change the document and saved it. So if I pull up, we're going to go to TextWrangler, which is a free application. Now, the thing I don't like about TextWrangler is that the syntax highlighting messes up quite a bit. So right now, everything looks decent. You can see the new var here, but then you can see right here, it messes up right after I finish the first PHP block. Because by default, it's looking for HTML text right now. So it's going through, and you can see once we get back down to the HTML and the CSS, it starts coloring syntax highlighting fine. The only problem with it is that it does not give you that overall feel of how you're doing. The nice thing about this is that it does have a document gutter, which you can actually initialize on TextMate. So if I come back here, it's just going to want more than one file when you drag it in, that's all. So if we come here, let me go ahead and open up something like right here, and we'll bring in like a, copy this. We'll throw it on the desktop here. So if I drag more than one file at one time, so if I paste that and where to go, we'll do, where the hell, there it is. So if I take both of these and drag them to the TextMate, you'll notice that it opens up that gutter right here. See this? So when you open up that gutter, now you can go ahead and do whatever you want. And you can open up each one, just double click on them, and there they are. And they come up as tabs, so you can switch back and forth between them really fast, which is nice. Now you can have a million docs here. You can start loading up docs all you want. However, they do not appear as tabs until you're actually done, or until you actually launch them to edit, which is nice, because if you're opening up an entire project folder, you don't need a million files opening up here, only the ones that you want to work on. So we'll go and close project, that one. And we'll come back into TextWrangler here. And so that's mainly my main complaint, is the syntax highlighting is very weak. Unfortunately, the drawer is really nice. Again, you can close and open it really quickly. Something you can't do really easily on TextMate, which they need to improve. But time goes on. So overall, I mean, and another beautiful thing, I hate to come back to TextMate here. We're gonna go ahead and close this TextWrangler. This is a free app, by the way, TextWrangler. You can go to Google, just type in TextWrangler. You can see it up here. You can get it for free. Another cool thing about TextMate, if I just double click on it, you can see it's my default, is that it does autocomplete, kind of like Dreamweaver. So let's say I was going to be putting in another div here. I do div space ID, and I want to call it, like, let's say test1. You see that right when I put both this character, which is the opening for the element, and I did ID with a quote, it auto-filled the other quote in for me. So I can just start typing in my ID name here, and then I can, of course, save it. So that's another feature that Dreamweaver does. So we're going to go into Dreamweaver now. And Dreamweaver, I have to say, as you can see, notice that the file got edited. It says, do you want to reload it? I'm going to say yes. I have to say, Dreamweaver by far has one of the most intensive and best syntax highlightings that I have come across. It has cache problems every once in a while where you'll have to close or reopen the file for it to basically view correctly. But I mean, it allows you to do CSS styles right within the file itself. If you start classing and CSSing off to other different files, you can do it even if it's a PHP file. It does not care. It'll let you go ahead and do it. Right now, there's no properties that display. So if I come in here, you'll notice that if I start going into other files and start CSSing into other files, it'll start bringing those files into my library, and I can start picking from there, and it's really nice. So that's one thing I really like about it. Now, no, not everyone can afford Dreamweaver. Dreamweaver is a pricey application itself. I believe itself it's like $200, and if you buy the suite, it's something like 800 and something bucks. But it's definitely a well worth application. If you have it, use it. I only use it mainly for big projects. So if I'm coming in and I know a job's going to be a huge content website, and I'm going to have to be editing multiple PHP files, multiple HTML files, this is something I would use. Other than that, in all honesty, TextMate takes over. In my opinion, it will provide the best editing experience for you while you're editing and on your Mac. And I hope you have a great one. And this will conclude the video today. And I hope to be posting more as time comes. Thank you and have a good day. Bye bye.